Every individual with a disability makes a personal decision to choose whether to disclose their disability with an employer. We encourage you to meet with a career advisor to determine what works best for you. In our short presentation today, we will review factors to consider when disclosing your disability, followed by suggested times in which you may choose to disclose your disability. When thinking about if and when to disclose your disability, consider whether your disability is visible or hidden and if accommodations are needed on the job or in the interview. You do not need to disclose your disability unless you need an accommodation. Under the Americans with Disabilities Act, companies with more than 15 employees are required to provide reasonable accommodations to people who disclose a disability, which the law defines as a physical or mental impairment that substantially limits one or more major life activities. A list of reasonable accommodations based on disabilities may be found on the Job Accommodation Network. Disclosing on a resume and/or a cover letter can give you peace of mind. However, you are not required to disclose a disability when you apply for a job, even if you later need a workplace accommodation. Always highlight strengths on your resume, such as problem solving, resourcefulness, or the ability to adapt and learn quickly. Perhaps you have these skills listed under your experience working for the Disability Alliance Club or another disability organization. A cover letter gives you the opportunity to disclose your disability. This would be to your advantage if you are applying for a job with a state or federal agency that must comply with affirmative action policies, or the job you are applying for directly relates to your experience as a person with a disability. If you need an accommodation for the interview, now is the time to disclose. For example, if you use a wheelchair, you may need to disclose your disability and confirm that the interview is happening in an accessible location. Disclosure at this stage anticipates the concerns of the employer and keeps the focus on your abilities. If disclosing your disability in an interview, remember to talk about your abilities. Employers need qualified, capable individuals to fill positions. Demonstrate that you are that person and communicate what you can do. It is your choice whether or not to disclose your disability. By law, interviewers cannot ask candidates disability-related questions. However, should you choose to disclose your disability or request an accommodation, employers may then ask you questions regarding your disability related to the job. After the interview has been completed, but before a job offer has been made, you may follow up with the employer and disclose your disability. If you know you will need an accommodation, do consider disclosing your disability at this time and clearly articulate the accommodation you will need if hired. After a job offer has been made, you may then choose to let the employer know you have a disability if an accommodation is needed. The disadvantage may be that the employer feels that this topic should have been brought up earlier. Each employer is different. Once you start work, you may wait until you actually need an accommodation to disclose your disability. This may be months or years later. We encourage you to seek an accommodation before performance suffers. An employer cannot respond to your disability unless you choose to disclose. If you are sure your disability will not be an issue for your job performance, nor will you need an accommodation, you don't need to disclose. Adopt a positive attitude while talking to an employer. Be your own advocate. Employers primarily want to know, Can you do the job as well or better than others? And will you bring value to the company? If you decide that disclosure will help you be successful, practicing with the Lazarus Center or with a close friend or family member can help increase your comfort level and communication skills. Should you have questions regarding this presentation, want more information on our advising sessions, events, or career workshops, please call 413-585-2582. We look forward to hearing from you.